Yes.
Yeah, one year did me. I got introduced to bandmates that led me to.
I was the opposite. I went Babymetal first, then Babymetal.
Currently, I have 60 underlying.
Oh my God. I've been quite really looking out everything that I've done with the main did, which I've got no problems with. So I hope one day you might be in this.
Yeah, dude, you need to wake up in the morning with this, that means safe.
Well, I actually had a strike once. It wasn't for Babymetal, it was from a Japanese single album. But the vid was doing really, really well. I just woke up and I was just sat down. Oh my God. Where's see that's something I would never have thought. Oh yeah, I know.
And now cold right after it. I'm suffering big time. So I've only done a few videos of ones that I got to do regularly, and I got a couple Babymetal. And I promoted it as well to some of my
nice, man, nice. So, because like I said, I want obviously so last one, it's good exposure for us all. How long I was reacting to it before I didn't even I was like, wow. The fact that it's still going to this day as well is like a cruel joke. I think this fuck goes about this one. We might as well start. I did demons like so I obviously
okay, I'm gonna put my headphones on.
Not a problem, man. Right, hello.
2 minutes.
That's a yeah, we can start it.
Yo, sound check. Yeah, I hear you.
I did not know my starting screen had a like right there. Whoa, are you ready, Brian?
Yep, let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Sorry, they can hear us already. Hi guys, and welcome to the first episode of podcast Desu. I didn't realise I had my mic on for the starting screen there, so I apologise for that. So for people that could hear me. But on the show today, we've got Brian, who's from the Little Babymetal channel. Welcome, dude.
Hey, thanks.
And Rob K as well. He's a fellow Babymetal reactor, fellow reactor on YouTube as well. He's doing very, very well. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, buddy. Doing well, just chilling. Looking forward to hearing some Babymetal chat. Checking it out.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it's all about. That is why we are here, is Babymetal. The band, the music, the legends that is the Babymetal. I started, like I said, we'll start off with Brian. Brian, dude, tell us about Babymetal. What got you into it, man? You've been a fan for, as you were saying before, like many years before me and Rob. So kind of tell us how did you hear about them? How did you get involved in Babymetal?
Very, very silly. I kind of like aggregate news sites, but I was more of a fan of Fark.com. And there was a thread on Fark.com which was basically like, oh, Japan. And that's a kind of a repeated thing over there. It's like anytime something silly happens in Japan, it's like, oh, Japan. And the link was for a Kyari Pamu Pamu. And I'd known the video, and it's like, oh, okay, it's a little odd. It's not much odder anything you see out of certain Pop-Tarts here in the state. It's just cartoony and cute. In the comment section, somebody was like, if you think that's, check this. And it was Gimme Chocolate. And I watched the video, and I was like, yeah, it's a little off, a little not normal. But I actually think this is kind of cool. And, I watched it a second time right away. I think I got to see this again because I like the music. And almost directly after that, I was like, okay, you know what? I don't think that's that weird. I actually think it's kind of cool. But I didn't visit it again for probably over a week. And then I went back and I was like, Japanese little girls metal band. Because that's all I knew, I didn't know what they were called or anything. And the first video that came up, I could see from the thumbnail, was that video. And I watched it again. And I was like, I actually liked it. And I scrolled down and saw that they had other videos. So the second one I checked out was Doki Doki Morning.
Oh, yes, Doki Doki Morning.
Yeah, I remember some of this good fun early stuff. Whoa.
And honestly, I almost got turned off. The beginning of the video, it had nothing to do with the music. The beginning of the video with the little cartoon, like ding 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 ding, I was like, oh, this is for children. But I listened to the whole thing and I was like, yeah, it's cute, it's for kids. It's actually probably some of the better kids music I've ever heard.
The better kid music.
And I scrolled down a little more and they had this video that at the time I thought was for a song called Line. We all know better now.
We all know better.
Absolutely.
And I checked that one out. And the beginning of that was even more kind of off of what I normally listen to because I like metal.
Yeah.
And the beginning of Line, Ine, but I'm going to say Line, my mentality at the time, was this European vacation. And I'm picturing like Greek guys with their shirts, unbuttoned, dancing around on the beach. Because it's kind of like, that Euro tech. And then it got to that point where it drops into the rap. And all of a sudden, like, it goes into this weird, like, the girls are rapping in, like, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air suits and whatnot. And I'm like, this is so bananas. I must like this. I need to know everything about this. Who the fuck put this Frankenstein music? And that was it. I was hooked.
I was going to say, when you think of Babymetal, it's such a trope sometimes. It's such a mesh of all these different things that shouldn't work, but for some strange reason, it's like an icing on a cake. It's like it's like that cherry on a Bakewell tart. You can't get any better than something that shouldn't mesh, but just ultimately does. So amazing. What was your first time listening to Babymetal, Rob?
Yeah, I got hooked a whole lot quicker. About a year this week, I got introduced to a band called Bandmate from a friend of mine in on Twitch, a live streamer. Told me to check him out. So I checked him out and I loved it. But within the comment section was a reference to Babymetal. And right off, I wasn't too keen on the name with the name Baby in it and Metal. I had no idea who they were. I had no idea of any type of this Japan rock and roll craziness that I had just gotten introduced to. So I'm coming off checking out Bandmade One Tune, and then I get to go and I get hooked up with Gimme Chocolate. And it was a very, very appealing looking thumbnail, which caught my attention first. So I thought, okay, this looks good, interesting. But I had no idea. So I was about 5 months into having my channel, and this was something totally new to me now. This is a whole different aspect of music for me, coming off the many years I hadn't been listening to music while I was retired and just chilling. So I was ready for something new in my channel to get away from the regular stuff that I'd been doing, which was outstanding. People kept requesting the same stuff all the time, so I built off really well with that. So I had a chance to venture to Japan, and I was ready for it. Give me chocolate. I fired it up, and the first 30 seconds, I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at? Honestly.
That classic reaction.
Was my first thought. Because I'm seeing young girls at the time that looked like they were 13, 14, 15. I'm thinking, I just came from watching a different band with all females just killing it on instruments. It sounded amazing. And I'm thinking, I see this kind of stuff here in North America. But then the music caught me. I took notice of the kick basing on the drummer.
Yeah.
And that really kicked into me. So I got a taste of the music. We're about 45 seconds into it now. And I'm starting to hear the music. And I'm starting to hear the thunder. I'm starting to hear the pounding of it. And the sound of it was just incredible for me at that moment. And then I started seeing what the girls were doing. And then I could understand more what the girls were doing. And I was kind of shy at first. I operated nightclubs, adult nightclubs for many years. So I was around a lot of women. So I remember being careful about talking properly the way I would normally talk, viewing them, because they did look young.
Yes.
So I was cautious about that, and people mentioned that in the comments. I had people like, "Yo, bro, I'm 67 and I love these girls. They're dynamite, man."
Do you think that's like a gateway that maybe's passed with Babymetal now? Like, considering how old they are now, and if you're coming into it now, do you think it's easier?
20 years old now, they look great. The age difference, I feel, at least maybe for some older folks, maybe a little more easy to get more involved looking at them. Yeah. Once I got a sense of what they were doing, and then I saw the cuteness of Yui, and then I saw the determination of Moa, and I just saw the presence of some female singer that was singing a language I'd never heard before in that sense, in Sue. And I just took how tight they were their movements were incredible. And I just started seeing how it flowed with that thundering sound, and then the lyrics. It just all seemed to come together real quick for me, and I was hooked. Now, mind you, I'm doing reactions. I have people requesting this stuff, but I took to it big time, seriously big time. And then it just took off. I just ended up doing another like 50 videos in a couple of months, I think. Yeah. And just rolled with it regularly, 1 or 2 videos a week. Got introduced to some people on my channel that led me down the right path early. Yeah. It's been a great time.
That was exactly the same with me. It's like, it was really, really hard to explain the first time I seen them. I seen it. I can't even remember who recommended it to my channel now, but I put this on and I was pretty much like you. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? It's because I didn't know whether or not to dance, whether or not to rock out, or what. The sound was so something so different, so absolutely like something I've never really experienced before. It's like what you said before. It was like when you think of Doki Doki Morning or Give Me Chocolate, and you feel like you've got this kind of like kid kind of theme to it, but then as soon as it gets into the metal, and as soon as you see Moa and Yui and Sue's death stare on some of these videos, and you're just like, whoa, these girls mean business. And I was very much like you. I started doing two or three videos a week on Babymetal. I just became hooked. Like, I was so far down the foxhole before I even knew there was one. You know, I hear you, man. It was amazing how quick you can just fall down there. It's like the slightest little push, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gone. Whew. You know, see you later.
I always considered it that it was the music I never knew I Like it hit you in the back of the head, like, wow, you needed this.
Yeah, I feel I needed that at that moment.
Yes.
Both my reacting thing, but not only that, but both in the regards to me getting updated on what great music sounded like now. Because I took a 15, 16, 20-year gap with no new music. I just chilled, man, retired, and just didn't listen to anything new. And that's why I started this channel. And it introduced me to them, and it was like, whoa, I needed that. I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
And it led me down to a lot of other Japan amazing rock and roll. But Babymetal,
I know. Japan are killing it at the minute for music. I mean, through Babymetal, I found like Bandmade, Passcode. There's another band that I'm reacting to at the minute called the Wagaki Band. I haven't heard Scandal yet. But there's so much I've left untapped, which are absolutely amazing. Like Japan and that music scene are absolutely just pumping out such great music at the minute. It's unreal.
I think it's because it's fearless. Like they don't have a fear of failing, so they'll try anything.
Yes. I've just seen a comment then as well. Unlucky Morpheus as well as another band that is just absolutely just wow, just absolutely.
Yeah, I reacted to them a few weeks ago.
So talking about reactions, I know that Loon, who was on.
Hey Loon.
Yeah, Loon. Everybody knows Loon. She was just saying, wanted to talk about the obviously the Link and Sync and the Reactor Hub and stuff like that now. Well, basically just Amuse as well. Obviously, you've done a ton of videos. I know we were talking before we came live about strikes and stuff like that. So, but how do you feel about that? Like, was that something you started doing because of the strikes, or is that something you gradually moved into, or?
No, I had been doing Link and Sync videos prior to any of the strikes that I'd received because I was getting blocked worldwide.
Yeah.
I never touch the quality of the video music. I try my best to never touch that. I don't edit anything. I get the best video I can, and I roll with it. And I learned how to take breaks at the proper times, which seemed to help it. But then again, in the bottom, it doesn't matter. If they're going to strike you, the algorithm is going to grab you. So I had been doing Link and Sync because the Babymetal community told me about Link and Sync because they've been through this already. They lost some reactors that got strikes and lost channels, and they couldn't see their favorite reactors anymore. So they introduced me to Link and Sync really early on, in case I was getting blocked. And I don't mind copyright claims. They can run all the damn ads they want. As long as I get it in my channel, that's all I worry about. Just don't block it.
So I don't mind them claiming as well. I prefer that sometimes. I prefer actually having the vid there and reacting to it. And I don't mind. I really don't care if they claim the video or not. Like 90% of my reaction videos are claimed anyway. And I've got no problem with that. Like obviously my worst fear is, like you said before, is like waking up sometimes and you've got like 2 strikes on the channel. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to say this right here, right now. Link and Sync is the best way to do it. Reactor Hub is the best way to do it.
Yeah, it's that.
I don't know if you want to hear about why I say it's the best thing to do it, but before I get to that, so yeah, I was aware of Link and Sync. I got copyright strikes. I would utilize Link and Sync with Babymetal specifically, and then Bandmade started killing a couple of big channels. Bandmade's producing problematic algorithm goodies started killing a couple of Bandmade channels. So then I started using Bandmade with Link and Sync.
Yeah.
And then even with that, I got the 2 strikes from Guns N' Roses and Supertramp. Back to back, one day after another, bang, bang. So I had to first delete every video I could that was going to be a risk. So unfortunately, I lost a lot of my big viewed videos from Babymetal and Bandmade from my early on days due to the fact that I couldn't risk getting that 3rd strike out of the blue. Just because it was Amuse. They had never striked me, but I'm aware
do you think this is an Amuse thing? Do you think this is a Japanese music scene, or do you reckon this is like YouTube in general just heading in that direction now?
Well, first of all, YouTube's got nothing to do with it. My experience is YouTube can't control it. They're directed with their algorithm. It's the producers, the governments now that are involved with, because I deal with copyright issues with the Russian government, Kazakhstan, Japan, Chinese. I deal with everybody all over the world. But YouTube, it's very difficult for YouTube to control 100%. Japan and China and Russia are very difficult. I link and sync everything Japan now. I get a lot of reactions for Japan stuff. I try to link and sync it. I have to link and sync it.
Yeah, I think that's the way my channel's going to be leaning pretty much soon as well. It was actually Loon. It was actually your channel actually yourself that Loon suggested this Reactor Hub thing, and I'm slowly but surely now leaning all that way, because I've done a few videos that get instantly blocked worldwide or
yeah. Do you want to know why I feel it's the best?
So yeah, go on.
If I didn't have 40% of my user base, subscriber base, being iPhone users, I would be full link and sync every video. I actually started a new channel which is strictly link and sync videos. But iPhone can't deal with it well. They can't run 2 videos, but I'm not going to get into that. So link and sync is an issue for iPhone. So I have to maintain doing the normal videos the way that we do it, and utilize link and sync to the communities that are familiar with it. So I've introduced link and sync to some of my communities that they've taken to it. I was lucky to have the Babymetal community not force it on me, but direct me to it, into the sense that we could roll with it, because I was getting blocked hardcore, and I had to keep making them videos. And so I tried the link and sync, and it was rough at first, figuring it out, getting it all tinkered out and everything. But right now, I tell you, link and sync and Reactor Hub's the best way for 2 reasons. Well, 3 reasons.
3.
Both channels get the view. The proper channel gets the view, no copyright issue. At all. Your views will decrease 40 to 60% per video. Okay, I went from having 50,000-60,000 video views to 8,000-10,000 with link and sync. But what you get to do with link and sync videos that you can't do with your other ones that are getting copyright claim, you can run ads. So your views will drop tremendously, but your income will shoot up big time, because you get to run ads after 10 minutes at link and sync video. That's huge. I don't run a lot of ads on my videos. I run at the end of my video, and it's always at the end when I'm talking on my outro. Never before. So any ads in my videos are done through YouTube or whoever else, but whenever I run an ad, it's always at the end of the video.
I'm exactly the same. I mean, like, since even I got monetized, like, I feel really uncomfortable clicking that monetize button, and just because you can stick obviously ads in between videos and stuff like that, but I've never done that for my reactions when it comes to like songs and stuff like that. I never stick ads on a video. I've got the option to do it at the beginning and at the end, which is the 2 I tend to go for, but I try to leave the videos or the most of the reactions completely intact, if you know, because I don't really particularly want to monetize the hell out of it. But I see what you're coming from. I see what you're coming from. Like, obviously that was my first fear about going towards link and sync completely, is that I know that my views are going to drop. I know
it's going to drop big time. But the money will go up because you can run ads. You can monetize. Every other video I make other than link and sync, I never touch. I always turn monetize off. Been doing it since day one. It's not my video I'm reacting to. So I've turned it off from day one. Even when they say, hey, yo, you can turn it on, we'll share with you, I don't turn it on. I don't want that heat. I don't want them looking at that. It's not my video still. But link and sync is my video. But you're clicking on a different video, which isn't my video. So there's a give and take there. You lose views, but you can gain by monetizing the video without issues, which is huge.
So like you
said, the Reactor Hub takes it to another level. Brian, you still here? I know Brian.
I was just going to say we are going to move on to Brian. Brian, man.
Honestly, you guys are talking about reactions, and here's what I find funny is, like, from some of the old fans, back in the day, like, if you go back to like 2014, 2015, there wasn't a lot of Babymetal content out there. And if it wasn't for people that were displaying their own content and throwing stuff online, I don't think Babymetal would have hit the way they hit outside of Japan. They started off as a viral type of sensation. I wouldn't have heard them if it wasn't. I wouldn't have heard was for the fact that a lot of them were actually taking their stuff and throwing it online. So it seems to me to be this very weird thing when amused and copyright lords that be start striking these videos. It had so much to do with original. The fact that you guys have to have a conversation for what you're allowed to do and what not is actually kind of funny, because it's detrimental how that spread.
Yeah, you are breaking up a little bit there, Brian, though.
I hear you. There, I only got into the YouTube game. I've had my YouTube channel since the first day YouTube came live in 2006, but I never did anything with it other than store live stream videos. And then only a year ago, I started with this channel. So I know nothing about 2014. I could imagine. I know what I could have done. I know what I could have been doing with my channel had I got involved with it in the early 2007, and and really, I should have been doing this back then. I regret deeply that I wasn't doing this back then. And not necessarily reacting to videos and Babymetal and Japan music and getting blown away, but just doing something on YouTube in general. I'm so happy I get to do it now and get to hear bands. When I feel I need a lift, like I have been lately, I am listening to Babymetal, man.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I've been deep down the hole for a while. It takes a lot for them to surprise me, but yet they still surprise me, man. A couple of weeks ago, I did Kaguru at the Forum Pro Shop, man. That just blew me away. That was my best moment with Babymetal, like a month ago.
Yeah.
And that it just surprises me how well they can just keep surprising me.
But that's it.
Am I glitching as well, Loon?
Yeah, they're definitely one of those bands that I keep listening to it, and every song is so unique. I remember the first time listening to Papaya as well, and I was listening to it. I was like really getting into this, and then that little rap pop comes out and from nowhere, and it just drops, and it just sounds just so good. I just want to say as well to the chat, we do apologise for Brian's connection. He has got just a little bit of a poor connection on his phone, I believe. He will keep fiddling with it. It will come and go. So I do apologise. Are you back with us, Brian?
Yeah, how's this?
Yeah, there you go. He sounds good, man. So if he does cut out, guys, I do apologise. He'll be in and out, but hopefully he won't cut out too much. So Brian, I just want to talk about obviously the famous now Babymetal journey reaction. Have you heard of this, Rob?
No, I haven't. I don't think.
I'll let Brian explain to it that. But how did that start, man? Like, which person or people kind of just pop that into their mind, and now these Funko Pops have pretty much been absolutely everywhere. I think these Funko Pops have been to more shows and more Babymetal places than I think fans have at this rate.
It started in November of 2017. A Reddit user, it goes by Reddit user Moa, put a suggestion online about like, hey, I want to send a set of Babymetal Funko Pops around the. I want people to sign up for this. We'll get a note. We'll pass the pops around, take a picture, kind of share this thing together. And it was a suggestion over on the Babymetal subreddit, which I'm kind of pretty active on the Baby. And I like the idea, and I immediately said, I love this idea. If you need any help, I'm on board. So basically, within 2 weeks, we got this whole thing formulated. He put so much work together on getting people to sign up, and in less than a couple of days, he had 60 people from 22 countries all on board.
Oh wow, damn, that's fast.
Nice.
That
nice.
Fast.
But also worldwide too, like all variations, different parts of the world.
Yeah, no, it went through Reddit, which is fairly worldwide. So we actually realized we could circle the globe with this within 48 hours. And it just kind of took off and developed from there. The original idea was the 3 pops, take a photo with the notebook, send the scrapbook along to the guy. I kind of suggested, well, why don't we have an online photo album? And, we could share our photos through there. And then that turned into, well, let's do an Instagram page. And we'll do a Twitter page. Hey, we might as well do a Facebook page. We'll just compile everything there. So it kind of turned into its own little online.
So you are breaking up slightly, Brian.
Yeah, I'm thinking you may be one of the Babymetal channels in my Twitter timeline. Is that possible, Brian?
It might be. I'm not 100% sure on that.
I'll have to check.
But basic. I dropped out again.
Oh, you're good.
You're good. We can still hear you.
I'm such a fucking dropout. Anyway, so we started this thing basically with the idea of people taking a photo, passing it along. Yeah. And our first goal was to be part of Sue's Legend S at Hiroshima, but we had 2 weeks to do it.
Oh, damn.
Somehow we got it all together. It went from let's send a set of pops to, I think, I forgot the Reddit username, BMB Wook, was like, hey, how about that set of pops that went to outer space? So we contacted the guys that took the pops to outer space. We're like, hey, can we use your pops? They mailed it from Canada to us. So the set of pops that we're using for the Babymetal Wonderful Journey actually went to outer space.
Oh, damn.
That's crazy, man. I didn't know that at all. That's awesome that you got involved with something like that. They got so much going on. That's crazy. I love that.
Yeah, it was just a silly internet shenanigans thing that somehow I got involved in, and it's, kind of take it off into a thing. We have like about 1,500 people following us. Most are from Japan. People seem to enjoy it. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great, man. Do you know if like any of like Amuse or any of the girls are aware of this?
One of the goals when Moa set this up was his end goal was after we take them around the world, we're gonna give them to Amuse as a gift. Hopefully that Sue, Yui, and Moa will get them.
Yeah.
When we started this, Yui was still in the band.
Has any plans changed with that? Like, obviously with Yui going now,
No.
Did you have to incorporate like Avengers stuff as well going into this now, or did people just do that along the way?
I just finished one, Force.
Someone lighting up a blunt.
I can't hit my mute button.
We're not really going to change anything. It started off with the Sue, Yui, Moa pop, and we're going to keep it going as such. I mean, since we started this, Yui dropped out of the band. Mikio died.
Yeah, a lot of
from moment.
Yeah.
Oof, heavy moments.
From moment one, the idea was we're gonna start it, we're gonna finish it. So that's what we're doing.
What's
What's
the end game then? Like, where is this headed? Where will this end? Like, what have you like kind of like identified like when it will go to Amuse or the girls?
Oh, yeah, there's a definite path we're taking. The map was laid out. There's 66 people. We're somewhere halfway through right now. After North America, they're going to go down to South America.
Yeah.
And then from South America, they come back up to the west side of North America. Then they'll leave to go to Asia, Australia, It's going to end probably in about 2.5 years looking at the current rate of travel.
Yeah. So that's crazy. And how many people have now contributed to this? Because I imagine now it's been going for quite a while, hasn't it?
We're on 2.5 years at this point. So, we really, when we took this on, thought it would be 1.5 years. We're halfway.
Sorry,
we're halfway through.
A 1.5 is going to be a 5-year journey around. How many times is it going to go around the world? This sounds insane, like an insane project to go through.
At this point, they've been around the world once, and now they're down through the eastern side of North America. We have 4 more stops in North America, so they're 1 1/8 of around the world so far. But they've been around the world already.
Oh, so that is absolutely amazing. So if obviously you've been, like I said, you've been a fan a long time before me and Rob.
Yeah, he's super deep.
He's super deep. So how many shows have you seen now from Babymetal? It must be quite a few.
Not that many. I've been to 8.
8. Oh, wow. Eight's reasonable. 8's reasonable. What about you, Rob? Do you plan on seeing them at some point?
Yeah, I missed out on them a few months ago when they roamed. I live right on the border of Canada and the U.S., and they're over in the city in the U.S., which is literally 5 minutes away from me. But I have passport issues from my club days. They don't like me crossing that border too much.
Yeah.
So it's an issue for me to cross the border. Or I could have went 4 hours to Toronto in my country and see them there, but I couldn't get the time off work at the time. So I missed out on them on their recent pass through here within the last year. But I'll guarantee you, I got a great job now, making good money. I'm taking care of my issue. If they roll through here again, I'm all over it.
Fair enough. I mean,
I really want to know more about this passport issue because that seems like the interesting.
Yeah, just operated nightclubs on a big border city, and they didn't like the American girls coming over and dancing in our clubs every night.
I'm actually from nightclubs as well. I managed Webster Hall here in the city. Like that's my background is nightclub management. It's kind of fun.
Dude, man, I operated the 2 biggest clubs in my country for 25 plus years, and then put them all on the internet in the 90s. Ooh. I had to retire at 42. I was done.
Oh man, I wish I could retire at 42. I'd be happy with that. That's a goal to be able to do that.
See, I didn't retire at 42. I just gave the fuck up at 42.
Yeah, pretty much. I got divorced and pretty much gave up as well, I guess you'd call it, because then I just saw them ass. And I could have been streaming and doing stuff like this, man. The one thought I wish I had back in 2004, because I'd been gaming hardcore competitively with Quake and other games leading into that. And daily, and I was running big servers with our websites, our club sites, our girls stuff, and music stuff. And the one thought I wish I had back then was, how can I do this gaming that I do every day, like I do the live pornography we did for the last 5 years? And had I had that thought, it would have well been before Duck TV, Justin TV, Amazon, all that. But I didn't think about that. I retired everything. And then just only in the last year and a half, I got into doing something on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean that's the same with me. Sometimes I kind of look at it and I think with YouTube, if only I'd started 4 years ago, it seems so much easier to grow then than it does now. I think YouTube as a whole is kind of, I wouldn't say it's dying, but it's definitely getting more corporate. It's definitely leading towards.
It's nothing like it used to be.
Yeah,
it's still better though. I've been on Twitch for a lot of years. And I noticed I got a lot of views on Twitch, but I wasn't getting a lot of subs.
Yeah.
And I saw a guy do a Pink Floyd reaction, and I fucking loved it. I laughed my ass off. It was so chill. I loved it.
Yeah.
And I said, I can do that. And I just spent years trying to figure out how to do stuff online to make everybody else happy. It wasn't happening. I saw this guy do that. I loved his reaction. I fell in love with the idea. I could do that. And I said, I could do that. I could get into music again. I got so much music to listen to. I could do that. And I started doing it.
Yeah.
And it was just been the best thing ever. And I've loved it. But I have a big Twitter following, and I did a follow garbage. Best advice I can give you on anybody starting new. I've got 3 monetized channels now. Best advice I can give you: don't beg anybody to sub, man. Don't. I've never asked anybody to sub to my channel. Ever. Never asked anybody to donate to my channel. I've never asked anybody to go to my Patreon. Nothing. They find it if they want to. They'll find it and they'll take care of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's been huge for me, because I could easily get a lot more subs like I did with Twitter. I had 50,000 Twitter followers.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
They don't do nothing. They don't do nothing.
Yeah.
They do nothing. Whereas YouTube, they respond. They represent the band that they're in love with, that I react to and spend time reviewing for them, as well as for myself. So this reaction game has been huge for me, man. Coming out of retirement and doing something happy. I got a great full-time job now, but I'm so happy I'm able to still do this.
Yeah. So I've got
every day.
I want to touch on that subject as well, but I've got a quick question for Brian. Loon basically asked, Brian, do you know if there's been any more damage to the pops? Now we all know from the video that Moa's head fell off, if that's right. But is there any more difficulties that are kind of like damage
Moa's
that
head
they picked
has
up?
fallen off 3 times.
3 times.
Yeah, I think the first time was France. I know that when I got them, Yui's ponytail fell off, so I had to do that. While I had that, Moa's head fell off again. I had to fix that. Moa's head fell off in Arkansas, and my good friend Vince, Babymetal, he fixed that. I don't know if it's the Yui pop or the Moa pop. One of the fingers fell off. All 3 of them have been tacked down to their bases because they started falling off the base. So, yeah, they've been through some shit. So I almost wrecked them. I almost wrecked all 3 of them in New York.
Oh, damn. So,
that would have blown.
I was in Times Square, and I had them on... we have the pedestrian barricades, like these little posts that come up, and they were perfect to put the dish on. Like, we have a little traveling dish that you could throw the pops on.
Yeah.
That my good friend and one of the other organizers, Snarky Metal, So I laid the dish up on the post. I'm in the middle of Times Square. I was gonna get the perfect shot, and a gust of wind came, and they flew into the street in Times Square.
No.
And I jumped up. I was ready to jump for him, and the cars are coming. And I guess the fact that I jumped up so quickly, an Uber driver saw me jump, and he stopped the car, and they were like almost under his car, and I just grabbed him in time.
Oh,
Meant to be.
Yeah.
I'd love to say one more another thing about Lincoln Sync when I get a chance, please. But go ahead, Brian. Keep going, bro.
Oh no! It would have been really, really funny if one of the organizers actually destroyed the pop.
That was...
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah.
Brian's fault. So it would have been a hell of a picture though to take a picture of one squished pop for the rest of the journey.
You know, I'd wonder if we just send this squished pop along, like it's still gonna make it. It's still going.
It's still going. So, and this is already in 2.5 years, and you've got another 2.5 years left to go. Man,
that's a long journey.
That's a long journey. These pops are not going to be recognizable at the end of this, surely.
The last picture I've seen, they're all in good shape. I mean, they're being held together by super glue and love.
Super glue and love, and the best kind. So yeah, Rob, you wanted to, like I said, say something about the reactions as well, dude?
Yeah, just
the
Lincoln Sync thing, and the Reactor Hub. It's just, I find when I do the Lincoln Sync videos, I find I'm more involved in the video. I have a massive screen that I watch this on, so it allows me to go full screen.
Yeah,
I don't need to worry about when I can break or the wrong time to break, and I'm going to click the right button and doing the volume thing and just pausing at the right time, worrying about copyright, and you just let it flow. It just flows, and you don't ever worry about that. And I'm stoned right now, and I forgot the hell I wanted to talk about. As per usual, when I stream on my streams, man, I'm old. I smoke a lot of herb. It's legal here. It's legal here in Canada, so I'm allowed to do it. I just don't promote it. But okay. So yeah, nonetheless, so I'm not worried about that type of stuff to be worried about during the awesome Babymetal reaction. Like Kaguru it would have been a whole different experience. I would not have reacted. It felt personally the way I feel like I'm right there with it.
Yeah,
I don't have to worry about any of that. I can just focus on the sound, focus on the video, the visual, and just get right in. I just feel I get more sucked into. I get louder vocally, whereas my other regular reactions are more radio-like voice, smoother, calmer. But I find with the Lincoln Sync Babymetal, man, it feels like I'm there sometimes with the big screen in front of me and just rocking with it, and it's just awesome, man. And it's just something else I really enjoy about the Lincoln Sync aspect is you don't got to pause it. Because I'll tell you, there's been a few tunes I've done where I said, "Damn, man, I should have been Lincoln Sync in this because I hate to have to stop it."
Yeah, I mean,
that's
I've always got that on my mind as well. It's like when I do videos, like I want to talk, I'm like, I've got to pause it, you know. The thing I always feel with YouTube is like you just can't please everybody. I've got some people who go,
there's
"Oh,
no
dude."
Consistency.
Yeah,
consistency.
I've got some people who go, "Oh, dude, you shouldn't pause the video. Just listen to the song." But then I've got people who tell me, "Oh, dude, you talk too much when you're reacting. Can you not wait to the end?" There's so many things, and I kind of think to myself sometimes, and I'm like, "Well, how am I going to react if you just want me to be silent for the whole song and then just speak at the end?" I've never quite understood that.
Yeah.
From that thing, because surely you want to get involved, and when a bit of the song, like you just said with the "Gimme Chocolate," when they're going through it and they're like, it's like you want to pause it and you want to be like, "That's amazing! How cute is that?" Because that's your instant thought.
But the people get pissed. So I just say, "Screw it!" I pause in the middle. But I don't pause anymore because they're all Lincoln Sync for Babymetal for me.
So yes,
so that's, worry about.
Like I said, that's definitely where they're going. Brian, you are getting some major attention, dude. There was a lot of people now that are wanting to know.
What about the host of Pops? What's that about?
Yes, the host of Pops. There's a lot of people now being like, "I want to take a picture with the Pops." Demon's like, "Come to Belgium. I want my turn." Loom's asking.
They've already been in Belgium.
They've already been. Well, you have to come to Belgium again if they've gone over 2.5 years.
I mean, the thing was, we had to have a delineative start. If we don't do that, it's gonna be like it's already gonna go 5 years. There's no doubt. that by the time we get back to Japan and by the time this thing's done, we've got another 2 years ahead of us.
Oh, bloody hell.
And I don't think any of us that started this thought it would take that long. So we're really trying to like get this moving. And the other thing is, there's going to be people that signed up now that are going to receive them. It was 3 years ago. We don't know where we're going to have to be checking ahead for every 5 or 6 stops just to see if people still want to be involved.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Have you had any problems with the pops with that in that aspect? Have they gone somewhere that maybe somebody you couldn't get in touch with, or maybe you thought at one point, oh crap, I can't get hold of this person who's got these pops? Like, is there anything been like that?
Actually, this is something I wanted to address, and I wanted to like kind of give this guy some recognition. We had a gentleman on Reddit that went by the Reddit name of Aught7, and we were 3 stops away from his stop in the journey. And what had occurred was Snarky Metal Mark, he goes on Reddit by HT Wingnut, kind of a well-known fan.
Yeah.
He received an email from a young lady that informed us that she was Aught7's sister. And she goes, I don't know, I just know you're one of his friends, and that he was a big Babymetal fan. And we want to inform you that he passed away last week.
Oh, no.
So we actually had a member that was part of the journey that passed away, waiting for his turn. What was really kind of nice and about this, that something that we were able to at least recognize this with, was when she reached out to Mark, she had said that he had created a special T-shirt in honor of Yui, and kind of asked Mark to spread the word that Aught7 had passed away, and sent him the T-shirt.
Yeah.
So what we ended up doing was our one of our friends, Kamuda Metal, Vince, who I mentioned before, we sent him the shirt, and he went to a Babymetal show and kind of draped the shirt over the balcony so that it was visible from the stage the entire show.
Yeah.
And someone in the front took a really nice picture of it, so in some little way we got to pay a tribute to him. And then when the Pops arrived with Kamuda Metal, he took a picture of the Pops with the T-shirt, like kind of like, you're still here with us, Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Yeah, that is nice.
It wouldn't be as cool as if he was alive to receive them. That would have been much better, but it like I said, it's a measure of time that's going with this journey, and things happen.
Yeah.
And luckily we were allowed to at least give a little bit to his memory, since he couldn't be there.
Yeah. Is that shirt traveling with the Pops it as well, or?
Yes, it's in the package. It's going on the journey.
It's going on the journey. That's nice. Well,
nice stuff. Very nice.
It's the only appropriate thing. If he wanted to be a part of the journey, and this is the only way that we can keep him on it, he's going to be there.
Yeah.
It'd be great if there was a channel showing updates of videos of people getting their turn, and however it is they get involved, and able to upload videos to a channel specific to the organization that started and creating it. That'd be pretty awesome. You got anything like that going on, Brian?
Yeah, we actually have a Twitter page, an Instagram page, and a Facebook page. We do have a YouTube channel. In fact, Neon reacted to one of our videos, which is kind of how I got connected with him. The YouTube channel's not very, very active at this point. Snarky's been taking care of it, and with real life things, he hasn't done as many videos as of late. The last one he did is What is Baby Journey? That's how Neon Reaper found out about it.
Nice connection there.
Yeah, watching that video as well, I highly recommend that you watch it as well, Rob, and react to it.
Yeah, I definitely want to check it out.
Is definitely amazing to see some of the shots as well. Some of the most beautiful shots where, like you said, I think it was that the shot when they're in the air that I reacted to, where they went to space.
I think you reacted to the one that Callie was our voiceover. It's a "What is Babymetal Wonderful Journey," which is actually one of the more recent ones. It's an introductory video, but we did this well into.
Yeah. So, because some of the shots of that video are just absolutely beautiful. Especially, like I said, especially when those pops are in the sky, and you've got that shot of them. I'm surprised how close to the edge they are as well. By the way, I was looking at that thinking, if one of them just topple over, they got a long way down. But absolutely beautiful shots of those three pops.
I mean, that's the funny thing about these pops. They've been to outer space and around the world. Like, these little dolls have been to more places than most of us have ever been. And I mean, did I say dolls? I meant action figures.
Action figures.
We're not playing with dolls. They're action figures.
Super metal ones.
Cute metal ones. You comes with karate chop action. So, but yeah, no, just the fact that, like I said, that these three action figures have done all of this is just absolutely amazing, man. I try to think of it. I try to like process it in my head, and I still can't get around it. And to know that it's been around the world and so many people have stayed true and helped with this journey as it was, it's absolutely amazing.
Now, can I ask you a question though, both of you guys? Have you guys either of you've not been to a Babymetal, right?
I have. I'm going to actually get into that in a second. I've been to a Babymetal concert.
Okay, you have.
I have. I went last month on the 22nd, and it was amazing. By the way, so while I'm on this, I'm gonna get into it. I actually went to the queue early. And the hype for this thing was just amazing, man. It was cold, and wet as the UK usually is, but my excitement for this was just off the scale. We had the band that played for them or opened for them, Creeper. The reception, I actually got a little bit nervous. I know, no, fair play to them. They came out for this show, but there was a sense of feeling in this crowd that, you know, they were only there for Babymetal. And when you try to perform to a crowd who don't know who you are, not really interested. It's a very kind of like a stale feeling. Like you don't quite get warmed up for Babymetal as it was. And then as soon as they finished, like, the mood in the place just changed. Like, I was near the front and I got crushed. Just standing near the front.
That forward crowd, sir.
That forward crowd
first
was amazing.
As soon as that first note of either Babymetal death back in the old days, or now that it's usually Mijitsune, that first note that when they walk out and all of a sudden, like, holy fuck.
Yes, it was. Like, when the lights came on, it was like they went into pitch blackness, and then the lights would come on and they'd change position. I was just like, it's like watching a heavy metal opera. It's a gig, but a performance at the same time. It was absolutely amazing. For some of the stuff.
Noticing in the fan cams that I've scanned quickly that the venues are small. Like, the stage production aren't as massive as what we see. What I've seen over in Japan. Is that?
Yeah. I mean,
at the UK.
I say for the
small, because I've seen they're really tight.
Yeah, it's always been the way for UK though. Like, that harkens back to the days of like the pop punk era and the metal kind of scene around here. The UK is kind of like synonymous with like really tight spaces for gigs. Apart from like the stadiums where you're looking at like Wembley, and the new they're building a new arena in Manchester, which is going to be, I think it's going to be an 80,000 seater stadium for Manchester, which is purely going to be for gigs. So I think if Babymetal come to the UK next time, I think that's where they're going to play.
I'm familiar with a lot of the bigger venues in the UK because one of the bands I stream regularly and have a specific channel for. I do all their live shows on Twitch, so I see some of the big. I'd love to see Babymetal at like at Earl's Court. or
Yeah.
one of the big, like Wembley, where there's just an insane amount. That's something I've also adored with the band, is the way they look to me in Japan.
Yes. You can't beat. Yeah, you can't beat those Japan gigs. Like they are amazing. Hiroshima and stuff like that. Like I've seen some of those shows and reacted to it, and the crowds, man. Like there was one video. I can't quite remember which one it was, but the whole crowd's wearing like light necklaces that flash as the girls are dancing.
Yeah, I remember. Oh, I remember
Tokyo
that.
Dome.
Tokyo Dome. Thank you.
Tokyo Dome. Yeah, Japan, I believe.
I was watching that video and I was just like, that is wickedly awesome. That is so cool for the crowd to be synced with the band. I'd never seen that before. Like, not to that extent. Like, it always seems to be like for many bands to be like a gimmick that doesn't quite come off. But watching that for the very first time and just seeing like some of the shots, the camera shots for that particular show, I was like, wow, that is something special.
It blew me away.
So, I mean, I've had a lot of people as well tell me that you're big in Japan when you sell out the dome. I think they sold out twice, two times back to back. I think what is it, like a 60
2 consecutive nights.
It was
one show. But they did it consecutively. The way it was done was Koba had announced Tokyo Dome earlier in the year. And it was close to being sold out. And then all of a sudden, they announced the second night. And even I was like, shit, they didn't sell out the first night and they're going for number 2. And I think I mentioned something on Reddit like, this guy's fucking crazy. And somebody's like, no, don't worry. Everybody that bought the first night's going to buy the second night. And they both sold out, you know. It's like, don't worry, they'll buy both tickets. Don't worry.
Yeah, they're definitely a band you have no problem going to see 2 or 3 nights in a row.
My God. Definitely. That reminds me actually that what Brian just brought up there with Koba. I actually saw Koba at my gig, which was actually crazy. And I was stood a couple of feet away from greatness. I know Koba's watching. Koba's always watching. Hi, Koba. If you're watching this, please don't copyright strike me. Yeah, please don't.
Yeah,
I love you, Koba.
Not for talking.
Not for talking.
I don't believe, but hey, it wouldn't surprise me though.
It wouldn't surprise me. Koba's always watching.
Koba just trademarked his name, and we're all in trouble.
Yeah, we're all in trouble. But the gig finished, and literally I kind of ran headfirst to the merch store because it was packed when I went in, and I was like, I really want a flag, so I kind of running on there, and just as the queue would you couldn't go any further because everybody's kind of leaving the venue. I was stood there for about 5 minutes, and there's this guy next to me with a crew shirt on, he's facing the wall, playing with his camera, and I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. And then literally I must have been standing there for what feels like an eternity, and then the guy turns around. And you know what Koba looks like. It's unmistakable when you see Koba, like the mustache, the glasses. I mean, he's worse than I am for my hat. The guy never takes his sunglasses off. I swear he's a vampire. He's in the middle of this dark gig in Manchester, no lights on, wearing sunglasses. The guy is cool beyond belief. And he just turned around. And I was like, oh my God, that's Koba. But I was like, no, that can't be Koba. Koba can't be here at this 3,500 venue in a cold, wet Manchester evening. There's no way. And I'm just looking at him, I'm like, yes, that's definitely Koba. I was like, nah, is it?
That's
but
awesome.
It was Koba, and I was just like, oh my God. I stood there, it was the first time. Like seeing the girls, I was just like, yes, but you get into the crowd of it. But knowing that he was stood like two feet from me there, I was just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to react to this.
I mean, he's not a very assuming guy. I mean, he wears like kind of like cargo pants and hoodies.
Yeah. Well, he had
executive.
I would never have noticed him if he wasn't wearing the crew top. Because I just kind of glanced and I seen crew at the back, and then I turned around and knew it was him. If he didn't wear that crew top, I would have turned around and been like, I would have been like 40% sure it was Koba. But knowing that he takes pictures and he was tweeting out the pictures for the gig of where he was standing at the time, I was like, yeah, no, that's definitely Koba. I was stood within like touching distance
of the man himself. So yeah, that was an added bonus. Like that really for me made that night really special. Seeing the girls, being so close to them as well. Like Moa, oh my God, I apologize in advance because I'm about to go into about a 30-second chat just creaming all over Moa at the minute. But wow, that girl looks more amazing live than on any video you could say. Like that girl can move. Moa, yes. Like,
oh yeah.
Wow, she's got such a grace, and I can't explain it in words. It's the girl that was dancing with her that night, I believe was Kana, and you can see like there's nothing wrong with the choreography. I mean, they're both on time and both perfect, but Moa just had a grace to her, like Mo's got a presence when she's on the mic. Mo has very much got that presence of that audience was just looking at her. When she goes out, breaks out of her routine to interact with the crowd and to interact with people smiling or that it's brilliant. So I've just been corrected in the chat. It wasn't Kano. Sorry, I apologize. It was Momoko.
Yeah, now Kano only did the Japanese shows. She's been on the official MVs, but as far as the overseas shows, it's either been Momoko or Riho.
So I was quite lucky. Like I said, I was on the Moa side of thing. I intentionally went to the right hand side because I knew that was Moa's side, and it was just I absolutely no regrets with that. It's absolutely brilliant. Thank you, chat, as well for correcting me there.
I actually, if I could butt in as far as like being close to the girls, and close to the band in general, my first time seeing the girls and the band in person was at the Colbert Show. So we had no barricades, no real stage, no security, and we were right up front. And being that there was no stage, it was eye level instead of looking up at them. Absolutely fantastic. Like as far as feeling personal, and then we went around to the back door afterwards to see them off. So Koba walked out a couple times back and forth in front of us.
Yeah.
And he's just such an unassuming guy. He's not very big. He doesn't walk like I'm somebody. Like one of the refreshing things about Koba is he's not like this I'm on a pedestal music producer. He just seems like a regular dude. If you just look at him, you can walk right past him and not know him.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You know, which I always thought was cool. I mean, look, this is a guy that went out and the stage was wet and he picked up a fucking mop and mopped it himself.
Wow. Wow.
Awesome.
He wasn't pointing at guys going, "You mop this." He got out there and got the fucking mop himself. That's
awesome. Kuba, samurai mopper.
Yeah, I didn't know this much about this person. Awesome info. I'm going to be looking into more about him. Absolutely. Wasn't aware of such involvement.
Yeah, no, I think Koba's kind of like a private guy, though, isn't he? Yeah, he's very detached from the girls in that kind of sense. I don't think there's really kind of much footage of him on YouTube.
Koba does a lot of like smoke and mirrors. Like I call it Barnum and Bailey promotion. Like, just say it's the biggest show on earth. Just say every show is sold out. Just say this is the biggest band in the world. Eventually, they'll fucking believe you.
So, yeah.
You know, Wembley was not sold out. That was advertised as a sold out show everywhere. There was time and time again in Japanese press articles, the Wembley sold out show. The show was not sold out. It was almost sold out. It was very close.
Yeah.
You know, but he just elevates it to another level and makes the band seem like they're more than they are, even though to me they're much more than he even says. That's my own heart talk.
Well, that's his job. But let's not forget that. First and foremost, that is Koba's job is to give these girls the publicity, which they deserve. To be honest with you, so it seems really weird. Like I said, I'll harken back to some of the first reactions of like Give Me Chocolate and Doki Doki Morning.
One thing I gotta say is I find it so funny seeing all kinds of new reactors pop up, and it's always Give Me Chocolate first. I love it.
Yes, yeah, I noticed that as well. It's always the big ones. I can't even remember what I started off with, but I think it was a bit of an obscure one. Because I actually didn't end up doing some of the bigger songs until like halfway through, like, a couple of weeks in for some of the Babymetal songs. But when I first saw it, or when I first kind of known about this band, before I got kind of deeper into the Foxhole as it was, you kind of see it, and you kind of do brush it off as like a gimmick, like I said, these young girls doing a baby metal band. And as I've kind of gone further and further into the Foxhole and stuff like that, you start reacting and start seeing their kind of like their Sakura Gaikuin stuff.
The work they put into it from a young age, man. Not once have I ever thought they were gimmicky. The first 30 seconds of my introduction to them was like, was a WTF thing. I wasn't aware of what I was looking at, but that changed very quickly. But yeah, they tremendous for me. I love everything about them.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been a metalhead for years, and if it wasn't for gimmicks, there'd be a ton of metal bands that wouldn't have gotten noticed. I'm also a big fan of the band Ghost. They were maligned harshly for being a gimmick. You listen to Tobias's stuff, and there's so many layers. He grabs from so many other areas of music to put this in. Yeah, it's a gimmick. It's a fucking good gimmick.
So it is, and I think Babymetal definitely took the long and hard road with this. I think it was very. I think if a Babymetal band of Babymetal's ilk kind of came out today, I don't think they'll have anywhere near the trouble of recognition that Babymetal had in 2014. I think they very much, and I think this is a thing for pretty much all the Japanese music at the minute, is you've seen a lot of these bands being more recognised over the West than they ever were before. Mostly because they do have absolutely rocking music, but I think also that Babymetal's hard work over the 6-8 year period of them touring and grinding out and getting rid of that perception has really helped not only themselves but the Japanese music industry as well as a whole.
Yeah, Tatsu Girls outstanding, man. Check them out if you haven't seen them. Oh baby, Tatsu Girls. Whoa.
Oh, Tatsu Girls. Oh, I think I've actually had a reaction request to that, so that's something to do in the future. So, talking about more about Babymetal. Obviously, coming up to the pre-Yui era, and now coming into obviously Metal Galaxy and stuff like that. Rob and Brian, which age or kind of which era of Babymetal do you guys tend to sway towards? Like, obviously you've reacted to like Gimme Chocolate and Doki Doki Morning and all that stuff now, but now listening to like, I don't know, Papaya and BMC and stuff like that. What kind of era do you kind of gravitate towards?
You want to go ahead, Brian?
Oof. I honestly say none of them. I went back well after the Metal Resistance album came out and listened to the self-titled, and I was like, yeah, this album's more fun than Metal Resistance, but as a metalhead, I like Metal Resistance. And now with the third album, I consider like Metal Galaxy to be a lot less metal, say, like, the Konami song, the A B down.
Yeah.
That's not a metal song at all. I mean, that song actually reminds me of something that Sakura Gaikuin would do, but it's a fun song. I love it. Brand New Day has metal elements in it, but it has just as many jazz elements and prog elements as it does metal, probably even less metal. And I love that song. It's got pop hooks. It's almost radio friendly. And I wouldn't be against Babymetal being played on it. So it's hard to say what I gravitate towards. I gravitate towards certain songs more than a certain period.
Yeah.
I'll always miss the original trio.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest deciding factor for most people is I hear a lot. They go, the new songs are great, but it's not as good without Yui. I hear that quite a lot. I mean, it's probably something I can't personally connect with. I mean, I reacted to all the videos with Yui. I've gone so deep like I said, with Gaikuin, that I feel like I know Yui kind of without kind of knowing her. But I don't have that same appreciation for it because I jumped in when the Avengers were there, and I kind of felt more of an attachment with them than Yui. So when I look back at a certain period of music for Babymetal, I'm kind of like you. I don't gravitate towards a certain period. I just love all of it, you know. For me, I don't have that biased opinion of with or without Yui. For me, it's just all good, and I love every second of it. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, for me, it's more era based, I think, because I recall deeply putting off seeing anything new from Babymetal until I saw everything that had to do with Yui in Babymetal.
Yeah,
and I put it off and put it off. All this new stuff with the new look, the new outfits, the new everything. I didn't touch it. And then one day I did an hour Link and Sync video on a live show somewhere. I can't remember right off the hop. And I finally said, okay, I've absorbed all the Yui era that I could, and now I got to make that jump. So I made the jump. I started looking at the newer stuff, and I enjoyed it. It was difficult not seeing Yui and seeing somebody new there, and not knowing the songs and the new look.
Yeah.
So I'm down deep. It wasn't exciting for me. I loved where they were going, what they were doing, seeing Sue progress, seeing Mo become marvelous, just putting it together, the band, the boys doing their thing. But again, close to a year after I started, I got my ass kicked a couple of weeks ago when I did Kaguru, I think it's called, on my Link and Sync channel.
I think it's called Kajaru. I think the G is soft.
Yeah, the music hooked me from the beginning. I was just about to say, listen, I love the girls, but hey, if they don't show up right now, I can listen to this all night. And then boom, out comes Sue. Here she comes, and it just fucking blew me away. And I had a good medicated thing going on that night. It was awesome. I was in the zone, and that showed me right there. A year later, they could still bring me in and just hook me and just say, "What? Here you go, man."
Yeah,
and I was like, oh, "Damn, okay." Like just taking it was incredible, man. Incredible.
A song that I think I really, really love was BMC. And like I said, when I saw it live, the crowd reaction, like the absolute mosh that happened as soon as that kicked in, has elevated that song for me. One of the new songs, legendary. Like BMC for me now. Like I enjoyed that song coming into it, but coming away from that gig, I like I said, that song for me has legendary status. I was absolutely amazing for that. Was brilliant. That when it kicks in with Sue's rap as well, it's just beautiful to listen to.
Yeah, I did that yesterday. First time I heard that tune was yesterday.
Was it yesterday? Oh,
did a Link and Sync video, and I loved it, but it was just audio only. But throughout the whole video, listening to it, all I could think about was how their saunting, their marching, what they were trying, what I could visualize them doing. So I did another one today with some fan cam, but I took it down because it was the official audio again, and I should have used the fan cam audio. But yeah, I love that. Yeah, incredible tune again, like progressive for me off the start, and then Sue with that power rapping. Man,
it's so much better live. I practically sound. I'm going to sound like
she did too. She did a couple of times, very softly. At the end of it, just I can't do it, but just a little whistle type thing at the end. Just whoa, man! Yeah, man!
Yeah, it's just so good. Wanna?
It's been great to see her from like the age 10 to now. It's incredible. The work effort they've done, man. You've heard me yap about it. The work effort they've done is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing as well. It's props off to them how like amazing and stuff like that is. What are your thoughts on the new stuff, Brian? Like, what was your first kind of reaction to hearing a new album, like post kind of Yui?
I mean, I actually probably didn't have the extreme reaction that a lot of fans had with Yui leaving. I know a lot of fans were angry and upset. And,
Did it take some getting used to for you? Was there a settling down period for kind of like getting your head around it?
It really upset me that she was leaving, and I could say that it was because I kind of watched these girls before they took the stage at Sonosphere. So I watched them from my first 4 months of getting into the band. You know, there was only limited material, and it was all the old stuff. So
Yeah.
maybe in 4 months, I watched the first 4 years. But then I saw them take the stage at Sonosphere the first time, their first steps overseas, doing that all together. So it was, to me, they grew up together. So it was just wrong in some way that Yui wasn't going to go on. But I've also been a fan of bands like Black Sabbath, who had several lead singers.
Yeah.
I knew Iron Maiden when Bruce Dickinson
Bruce,
wasn't
yeah.
the lead singer. You know, so it's not unusual for a metal band or any band to go through change-ups.
Van Halen, there's been a
Metal,
few.
Yeah, there's been a few.
With Babymetal, it seemed different because these girls grew up together, and I watched them grow up. You get kind of this odd personal involvement in it because they're so much younger than you, because you want to be good.
Yeah.
You know, I'll definitely say one of the things that helped my fanship of Babymetal go along was, you know, prior to Sonosphere, there was like all these idiots online saying, I'm going to go to Sonosphere and throw bottles at them. And you end up like, I'm going to stick up for the underdog. Fuck you.
Sorry,
You know?
why would you do
like,
that?
I end up
though?
liking them more because people hated them.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, to know how sweet these girls are as well, people can be knobs sometimes. So, with
You know,
with
that being said, though, I saw the concert in 2018 in Atlanta, and I was actually like chosen VIP #1. So I was the first person in the venue. I was front and center, right in front of Suzuka and Moa.
I'm not jealous at all.
And that was one of my favorite shows. It was actually the first time I saw them in concert without Yui, and that was actually it was the most spirited. Like, it was a great show. I was looking forward to Yui coming back, but the showy without Yui ended up being one of my favorite shows.
Yeah. So I was going to say with Yui, is there any kind of news on Yui? I know a lot of this is a massive topic for most Babymetal fans now coming into it, is whether or not is the will she return, won't she return chat. Have you do
you want to open that can of worms?
Oh yeah, we're gonna go there. We're gonna open this can of worms. Do you think she'll return? Why do you think she'll return?
Honestly,
if she does, or
honestly,
well, honestly, go on.
Honestly, I don't think she's coming back. I think she's moved on.
You think she's moved on? So, is that a thing?
Moved on as never being involved with anything musically again?
I have no idea on that. It's not.
Well, she's still attached to Amuse, though, isn't she? She's still part of Amuse's company. We just haven't heard anything for what seems like a considerable
She's on the
amount of time.
roster.
Yeah.
According to everything I've heard, she's still on their roster. But I mean, Amuse does things in modeling and acting. You know, so who knows? Will she'll pop up again? If she pops up again, maybe she's just riding the contract.
Yeah. Do you think if she ever was to return, like hypothetically, do you reckon she would come back full time and just be the three again? But do you reckon now that the Avengers have evolved so much that they could still be a permanent part if she was to return, or would it be like a Spice Girls reunion thing where maybe she'll come back for like maybe an important show at some point in the future?
Oh,
this is all hypothetical, of course. Like I've just
a lot of speculations going on about this. There was a lot of talk about the Fox Festival that happened directly before her last concert, where people thought she was wearing a brace of some sort. It looked like she was a little heavy in the middle. Then it looked like she was wearing something. I kind of tend to go in the train of thought that there was some type of injury. They said it was an illness. They said she said herself, "I'm not better yet," and I think she sustained some type of an injury that prevents her from dancing.
Yeah.
So for her to return to Babymetal, I don't think it might be physically possible. But I know nothing. I'm just a fucking idiot, just like everybody else is.
Yeah.
You know, who knows?
If it was to do with Yui and not being able to dance, could you elevate it? Like, could you bring Yui back? Do you reckon with Moa, have the three as the singers, and maybe have the three Avengers return, but have them as the dancers, and maybe try to switch up Babymetal that way? Or do you believe that it should stay as a three and always be just the three girls? Because obviously Sue and Moa are the biggest parts of this now, between the two of them, but they've had no problems carrying it, just the two. Could it get bigger or smaller? Like, what would people's... I'd be interested in the chat on this one. What would people's feelings of that be if they were to do something like that?
Oof. I would have to go back to Koba's thoughts, and Koba's original vision of the band was it was Sue in the center with two girls flanking as kind of like the dancing little angels, or however he put them.
Yeah.
And if Yui can't dance, it wouldn't be part of Koba's original plan. I mean, the only thing that matters with Babymetal is what Sue, Moa, and Koba thinks at this point. Seriously. We're just fans. We have no... You know, we can't as fans make a wish list. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, yeah, that could be. What about you, Rob? Would you take Yui back with a heartbeat if you could?
Oh yeah, well, absolutely. I love where they've gone. I love how they've progressed. The new girls that I'm getting familiar with are incredible. But again, it's just, I've only been with the band for a little over a year now, so it's still, Yui's still very fresh in my mind and my thoughts. It's not something I've been able to enjoy over 3 or 4 or 5 years like most of you guys have, even longer. So yeah, I've taken heart to understanding she may never be back, but you never know. The Eagles broke up for 15 years, came back to 90,000 people in stadiums for them. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good point, actually, bringing that up. If they were to bring Yui back, would this be something like they're waiting for, like I said, a 90,000 seat stadium or something like that? Or
I was thinking that 5 minutes ago. 100,000 people.
100,000 people. If you're gonna bring Yui back, it's gonna be big.
But I love where they're going. I love where they've gone. Originally, the videos that I was looking at, the live shows, there wasn't a lot of focus on that third girl. There was a lot of focus on Sue and Moa on the video aspect.
Yeah.
But I noticed now there's more focus on that third girl now, which is really good. So they're happy with how that's panning out for them. They love showing that now. They're trying to maintain that 3-girl look up front and displaying that more for everybody to see visually as well now, I find.
I mean, I think the 3-girl motive, the 3-girl idea was Koba's concept from the beginning.
Yeah,
and he's going to stick to that. That was, what got him to where he got to be where he got. And, you can make the right change. I love what they've done. It's the only way they could have done it.
Yeah,
2 girls I don't think would have worked. They had that.
Yeah. If obviously we go back to Koba's original vision of 3 girls, who takes that third spot? Like, if we were to make one of the Avengers a permanent member, is that something? Do you think? If who's your personal favorite? I'd love to know what people think in the chat as well.
Amongst the current Avengers.
Yeah, amongst the pot. Who's more likely to fill that third role?
I personally don't know them well individually, but from what I read from my comments, people I talk to, is the girl that's been close to Sue, I think, from childhood, early on, I think.
Riho.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the girl that I see a lot of or not. I don't know.
So I think
I honestly think Riho makes the most sense from a strategic point.
I personally hope it's Riho as well.
Koba's like just... Koba does what Koba does. He says, I don't care what the fans think. It could be some girl we've never heard of before, and just bam, here you go.
Do you reckon he could? Do you reckon he would pull something like that though?
What's that?
Do you reckon he would pull something like that though?
That he said he doesn't care what the fans think?
Yeah, do you reckon he could just jank a 3rd girl out of nowhere and just plonk her in there? I mean, would that sit well with would that not sit well with Sue and Moa, do you reckon, with obviously the Avengers being so close to them? Childhood friends as well. Because you'd like to think that surely the girls would have some sway in something for that to happen.
Right, but before any of these three Avengers were on spot, he actually just picked these three girls. He could pick a fourth girl and be like, this girl fits in. If you kind of look at it like, Seiya, who was the first one that assumed that third spot, she had a history with Mikiko, the choreographer. And now with this, the secondary lineup of actually having the three Avengers, you have two girls that were from Sakura Gaikuin and another girl that was from Morning Musume, who just happens to have the relationship from the Hiroshima school. Koba could find another girl that just seems to fit
Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting thing as well. Could we see another Sakura Gaikuin girl maybe, be plopped and just put into this group? Is that a possibility, do you reckon?
I see Sakura Gakuin being like the minor leagues in baseball, man. The talent's there when you need them. They just call them up.
Just call them up.
The talent there is incredible. There's so many of them. So many talented girls there. It's incredible.
So
now, you guys are actually, you're around my age, Rob. Do you remember the Mickey Mouse Club and how many people went out of the Mickey Mouse Club and became infinitely famous?
And that Funicello, all kinds of them, man.
Right, and Sakura Gaikuin kind of reminds me of the old Mickey Mouse
That
Club.
was my first thought when I went SG was Mickey Mouse
bringing
Club.
this talent on, and we're breeding them, and we're we're going to hone this talent. And
But Mickey
the funny
Mouse
thing
Club
is,
was not intense as Sakura Gakuin, though. The same concept, same idea, but the effort and work put in by these girls in Japan, 100 times more than anything Mickey Mouse girls got people were doing.
Well, I'm sure Disney, like the execs at Disney, are rolling in their graves thinking, why didn't we keep these kids on? Yeah. Because a lot of the people that came up under the Disney umbrella, Miley Cyrus can be mentioned.
Oh my God.
Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears.
Well, okay. Recently you had Miley Cyrus. You also have Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera were all under that umbrella.
Zac Efron.
And as soon as they got old enough, they let them sign with other talent agencies. Whereas Amuse is not doing that. They're like,
they keep it all.
They keep yeah.
We're gonna hone you. We're gonna make you, and you can stay with us, and we'll make you bigger. And Disney must be like, why the fuck didn't we?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So that's a funny way of looking at it. Amuse's Disney 2.0, but better. So yeah, that's a really weird thought. I mean, as much as we bash Amuse, I think for the copyright strikes and stuff like that for me and Rob, and maybe not spreading the word as much as they, as maybe not spreading the word as much as you'd think you'd like to for Babymetal. They've at the same time they've been amazing to these girls when you think about it. From such a young age to even now. At least
I'm hoping they're living well. I'm hoping they're living well outside the concept of Babymetal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I definitely think that Amuse looks after the girls, not only through their Babymetal personas, but I think privately as well. I mean, it's very, very hard. I think to find anything on any of the girls.
Outside of Babymetal.
And I think Amuse has done a really, really good job there of kind of self-containing and giving these girls probably the freedom, or more freedom than I think they ever would. At another
How
label.
old are the girls from Perfume? They've been with that company for years. Obviously, they treat their talent right.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Perfume's a great example of those girls were also very, very young when they started with Amuse. Amuse stuck with them. There was no graduation concept of, we'll get rid of you and replace you and we'll keep the band young. No, they kept Perfume going, and I'm not a huge Perfume fan. I did see them live. Absolutely an amazing show. And they invest big money into Perfume. They did a small little venue here in New York City, maybe 4,000. The show had the same tech you'd see in a state. The tech was amazing.
Yeah. Wow. So I just want to say as well that we are kind of getting on with the podcast. I was going to keep this down to like 45 minutes to an hour, but we have been chatting for like almost an hour and a half. So what I'm going to... Yeah, I know. Time flies by, doesn't it, when you're having fun? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask the chat if they want to ask, obviously, any questions to Rob and to Brian as well. And then obviously we'll go from there. We'll pick a few out and hopefully we'll ask a few questions.
Sounds good.
So, obviously, you know, before Rob blazes another one, if he's not already.
I've been avoiding it because I'm coughing and I don't have access to my mute button because I'm not doing any of this in OBS.
Yeah.
So I can't mute my cough and because I have the flu. So yeah, hitting it is not an option at the moment. And I want to though, but I just may.
So, all right. Well, here's a question from Demon. Who's your favorite girl out of the 3 originals, and why? And why is it Yui?
Well, for me, I first fell in love with the sound. Because if you watch my first video of them a year ago, Give Me Chocolate, or even heard me talk about it earlier, the first 30 seconds was I'm coming off of looking at a band that showed me 5 girls playing instruments and just played a great tune for me. I loved it.
Yeah.
Comment section, Babymetal, check it out. Checked out the thumbnail looked great for Give Me Chocolate. And at that time I was running my camera small and the video large. Like Neon does a lot of. I did that early on big time, and I thought that video that'll be a great looking video. The thumbnail looked provocative without knowing anything about the band. So I think I'm gonna roll with that too. So Give Me Chocolate.
Give Me Chocolate.
First 30 seconds, what the fuck is this?
So
I'm like, okay, I don't understand what the girls are doing. I can see a lot of this in the USA over here. But then the music kicked in. The music caught me. And it was seeing the more than the 4-string bass, as well as hearing that double kicking speed monstrosity thundering on the bass kick drums. So the music caught my attention first. It was the Cami band caught my attention first.
Oh yeah, that's something else we've not really kind of discussed as well. The Cami band. I mean, how brilliant are they as well? By the way.
Oh, they're incredible, man. They blew me away big time.
I know. I mean, so like I said, props off to Mikao and all of them. They were absolutely amazing.
And then all of a sudden, I could see how the girls were moving along with the music that I fell in love with right away, and I could just see the movements were tight. The movements were just quick, fast, incredible. And then I'm hearing Sue singing now. So I'm taking in a lot of new stuff here. Great sound, great visual of 3 young girls on stage. I don't know how to talk about them because I might get in trouble for talking wrong because they look underage. And hearing music in a language I really hadn't heard. So but it all came real quick. I could see Yui smiling. Moa was more to the right for me.
Yeah,
and I could see her dancing, but the first couple of videos seemed to focus a lot more on Yui.
Yeah,
and Sue,
she's definitely more adorable.
Taking in her vocals, I was concentrating on taking. She had a different look, and I've mentioned throughout my videos that I've loved how she never really changed that look from a small child to where she's at now.
Yeah,
you can still see those strong features in her face. Where Moa definitely changed for me. She's marvelous now, man.
Yeah, I know. Moa's transformation is just...
But it was Yui's smile in some of the poses and screen grabs. It was her smile.
Yes.
And then I could see a little bit better precision with her between her and Moa. Because I dealt with a lot of dancers and stuff in my career. And I could see some things where I thought, yeah, man, she's just pinpoint on. But it was that smile. And that was it for me. And then I got to hear her sing. I got to hear her play a flying V Dean guitar, man. I don't know if it was a Dean, but it was definitely a flying V. It was incredible, man.
What about you?
I fell pretty quick.
What about you, Brian?
Then it was the community. The community had me roar after that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. The community's been amazing. Sorry, Brian, go on. So your favorite girl out of the 3 originals?
Moa Metal is best metal.
But Moa, oh.
No. You know what? I think people gravitate towards things that they identify with, and Sue's obviously the leader, the most powerful, and the one that everybody pays attention to.
Yeah.
And then you have Moa and Yui, I liked Moa because she just seemed to be the silliest and the most with the antics, and I'm a troublemaker, and she just reminded me of the other troublemaker.
Yeah.
So I just gravitated towards her. She was like the evil one.
Yeah. That's kind of how I started. When I first started to it, I was fascinated with Sue. Sue's got one of those stares that, like, I can say it now because she's in her 20s, but she has one of those stares, those death stares that just make my knees go weak. She was absolutely amazing. She just had that stage presence about her that you just kind of look at it and you're just like, wow. But slowly over the course of my reactions, I've started to go more towards Moa. Because like exactly the reason you just said.
Sue's the goddess now for me, man. Sue's the queen.
Sue Metal has this weird dichotomy because on stage she's like this like solid, like almost like statuesque person, and then you look at anything that we've been allowed to see outside of the actual stage show, and Sue's an absolute fucking dork. She can't ride a bike. She can't tie her shoes. The kid's a mess.
I've done some videos outside of Babymetal, like shows and guest game shows, things early on with them as well. So I got a little taste of that as well. I could see.
Yeah, you gotta love that about Suzuka. Like the only time I think I've ever seen Suzuka Nakamoto on the stage rather than Sue Metal was probably the 2018 tour when she was actually allowed to go a little off script with Kajuru, whatever it is, and she kind of had like, I was joking with my friend Rob from New York. We saw the shows together, and it's kind of like the drunken Sue dance because she kind of has a quirky style when she dances when she's not dancing choreographed. When she dances choreographed, she's absolutely on fucking point. Like, being in front for Atlanta, right in front of her, seeing her kick into distortion, she was like every single time her feet hit the floor and her facial expression, she was on point.
Yeah,
but then when it came to Kajuru, she was kind of like a little quirky and like it was like, yeah, there goes Suzuka. And it was so fun to see. It was a pleasure to see. Also, when she went out with RHCP, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they allowed the girls to come out stage for "There's Nobody Weird Like Me." And you could just see that it was just kind of a little off and quirky, but fun. They weren't in their element of knowing exactly how to dance. So you got to see them. You got to see the girls' personalities shine through. And when you see it, Sue's always just a little quirky and funny. And it's like, I appreciate that. It's great. I mean, yeah, find me a Babymetal fan that isn't a little quirky and off.
That is true. That is true. So
Babymetal is the one band. Babymetal is the one band. They would definitely be number 2 on my channel in total views. Had I not had to delete all my previous Babymetal non-Lincoln Sync videos, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But Babymetal is the one band every day. I work in a metal shop. I deliver all the big pieces of metal they fabricate and make, and 99% guys, and they all have earbuds on, listen to music every day. I talk about Babymetal all the time. I'm like, guys, you gotta check this band out, man. Babymetal, and I'm getting someone onto it. Love it. Love promoting them myself. Love that.
I've been told to shut up many, many times while talking about enough already.
Yeah, I'm definitely in.
I haven't got to that point yet, but
it's definitely an infectious thing. I'm exactly the same. I can't help but when I get into that situation where I'm like, you go in and before you know it, you're listening to these, and I've done it myself now. My friends come over and I'm like, dude, have you heard about Babymetal? You do it.
A lot of times they look at me funny because the name Babymetal. They're like, what are we gonna have? Like little kids running around trying to sing? And I go, no, just go check it out, man. Give them check it out. That's all. And I direct them now to Kajuru now. I direct them to that too now.
I took like I said, I took my mate to the live show. He hadn't done anything Babymetal. Didn't know about Babymetal. Hadn't heard them before, and I took him to the show, and his first words to me coming out of that show was, "That was pretty alright. I enjoyed that." I was like, "I know they're good, aren't they?" So it's nice being the person, obviously coming from the reaction. It's nice being that person introducing people to Babymetal instead of of people introducing it to me. Which is really, really weird. And you always get that sense of appreciation. It always brings a smile to your face knowing that you've shown Babymetal to somebody else and they're like, oh, wow, what is this? And you're like already got that smile, that cheesy smile on your face, like, yep, I know. That's how good they are.
Yeah, now for the 2016 show in New York, I had a friend of mine, Darren, that I played karate in my bar for maybe about 3 weeks before the show. He bought 3 tickets. 2 of my friends, Abner and Phil, were the lighting and sound crew at Highlight Ballroom. They ended up going because I kept saying, you got to come see this, you got to come see this. And a friend of mine, Cristiano, who was the bartender at my local bar, I told him 2 days before or a day before the show, I'm like, going to go see my favorite band from Japan. And he's like, oh, what's that? And I showed him the video. He's like, I would go see this. And I was like, my friend Rob has an extra ticket, and he went. And the funny thing was the day of the show, by the time I'd gotten back from the concert, we did the after party in New York. It was at my bar. You know, I looked on Facebook, and my friend Cristiano had thrown, well, that was something. You know.
Yes, Elvis, he is.
So,
yeah, so I was like, yeah, that was something.
So, yeah, so still, as you said, guys, we'll start off with Brian. What's your favourite song? If you could only pick one.
My favorite?
Yeah.
Karate.
Ooh. What about you, Rob?
Well, I haven't heard it to the extent that most of you guys have, so it's a little more difficult for me because I've only heard a lot of the stuff 2 or 3 times, maybe. But I'd have to say, based off how it made me feel, it has to be Kajaru, Kajaru. Now, I don't know if the official video, sound-wise, with that introduction is like that. So I don't know if the official video would give me a different feeling on that. And if it isn't Kajaru, it's probably Road of Resistance, maybe.
So, yeah, Road of Resistance is a classic. I think any reactor... That's also another one that I always see pop up first. Seems to be everybody's kind of a few people's go-to points as well.
Rondo. There's like 5 or 8 of them that can be right there top.
I think for me,
I just need to listen to more of them.
I think for me, I don't know. Oh, I really don't know. As of this moment, I would say BMC just because I'm still off a massive high from the live show.
Yeah, I loved it.
But it could easily be like you just said, Rondo, or there was one song actually. There was one song that's not very popular.
Well, Catch Me If You Can, awesome.
That I absolutely loved, which was a Sue song. God, it was a metal. It was a cover song that Sue solo song. I think it was Rakrafni or something like that. Oh,
maybe the one where she's sitting down on the stage. Is
no,
that the one you're talking? No.
The song will come back to me. I'll have to find it. But there's a Sue solo song, which is a cover song she did, and that song's amazing. By the way, I really, really, really enjoyed that. The name escapes me right now, but that was amazing. So I've got another question, which is Neon. What shirt am I wearing? I am actually wearing another Babymetal shirt. This is going to gross a couple of people out, but I have not stopped wearing. I bought 2 Babymetal shirts, and I have not stopped switching between the two for the past since I've been to that gig.
I tried wearing different shirts and that, but I do all my stuff in the dark. I only have my face highlighted most of the time, so I always wear a dark shirt. I did like Neon did with the green screen back in the day. That's too bright for me, man. Screw that. It's dark here. Right? The only light comes from my TVs and my other monitors. That's it. That's the way I love it. And I don't edit nothing. I just roll.
So right now I'm wearing the Noir T-shirt from the 2016 tour, and I'm also wearing the Issues hoodie.
So
I'm 2 layers of Babymetal right
now. Brian's proper kitting it out at the minute.
Rapping big time. Nice.
So
I definitely would. I wear a hoodie every day at work in the cold.
Yeah.
I have ordered a Babymetal hoodie. I got one coming.
Oh, nice. I'd like to see a video with that in it. We've got another question from Loon. Mikio, Leader, or Amara? Who's your favourite guitarist from the Camis?
Honestly, as far as like my experience with Babymetal, I was directly across from Omura in Philadelphia, and he and I were doing a lot of face play with each other and pointing at each other. So I I like him more. I like his style, but it would be horrible for me to not say Mikio is my favorite guitar player.
What about you, Rob?
Yeah, I'd have to say Mikio, because we don't have him anymore. And I'm happy I got to enjoy him and get to know and listen to a bit of him before what happened with my journey with Babymetal.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a love for Boa, the bassist, man. You always hear me big time.
I
love him, man.
I'm very.
If it was my favorite kami, it would be Boa. It would be Bo. I mean, obviously my favorite kami, but the question was favorite guitar player.
Yes. Out of the three, I would. I'm the same as you guys. I can't not say Mikio because of everything that's happened, and I've been reacting to some of his solo stuff as well on the side, which is absolutely amazing. It just shows kind of like how talented the guy is. But Amora for me is another one that I love seeing live with the bass. Is fantastic. I love the little bits he gets when he does. Okay.
There were only. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, Democ 87 is just asked.
There were only two musicians that I cried over when they died. The first was John Lennon, and I was a very young person, and I don't know why I cried because I wasn't familiar with him. I was probably about 12.
Yeah.
But I remember listening to his album and just started crying over John Lennon, and Mikio was the second.
Mikio, yeah, I agree with that. Democ 87 just asked, and what's your least favourite song, if any?
Oh, that's easy.
Go on.
Uki Uki Midnight.
It can really? Oh,
Yeah,
It's the one song on a Babymetal album I have no problem skipping through. Just I can't stand dubstep. I've worked in nightclubs. I'm fine. I'm fine with skipping through Uki Uki Midnight. It's the only one I could say I honestly am not a fan of.
What about you, Rob? Do you have any?
Yeah,
what's your least favorite?
I don't have any. I can't even consider a least favorite right off the hop. I've done 107 of their videos between my Lincoln Sinks and their stuff, and yeah, I don't have anything that I said, whoa, that sucks. Never.
Sorry.
There's always been something good regarding either the visual of the girls doing what they did best or the music pulled me through to make me feel confident.
Yeah, I agree. I can think of about 80 songs that could be my favorite, but right off the bat, I can't honestly think of one that's.
I can't think. I know. I'm rolling through my playlist real quick here, scrolling. I can't see anything popping out. I don't recall ever saying that kind of blew, man. I didn't like that.
So we got another one from Suzuka Yuimoa. What's the top 3 songs on the Metal Galaxy album, Brian?
Yeah, I saw that question. Honestly,
I was been waiting for this one.
Am I doing Japanese version or am I doing the American version?
You can do Japanese version if you want.
I mean, BMC was just the shock, and the moment I heard that, I was like, "What the like?" That was
right from the beginning.
They finally
guarantee right from the beginning you threw you.
BMC surprised me, and I actually said leading up to the album, I think it was on Reddit, I'd actually said like Babymetal would have to recreate the wheel to get me as surprised as I was the first time, and then BMC was like, he fucking did it.
He did it.
So, I BMC would be number one as far as like, the first one I'd say is one of my 3 favorites. The second one would be Papaya. Papaya is in the same vein as Gimme Chocolate and Awadama Fever.
I love
It's
Papaya.
that perfect mix of just pop bubblegum and the Japanese, color of bubblegum pop mixed with metal. They did it again. And then for the third, I'd have to go between Brand New Day and Night Night Burn, and I'd have a hard time deciding. I would say Brand New Day probably. Those are my 3 favorites.
The 3 favorites.
I mean, with any Babymetal song, ask me tomorrow, you're gonna get 3 different answers. Because I'll listen to Shine right after. I'll listen to Shine right after this podcast and be like, "Oh my God, Shine!"
Yeah, a lot of it.
You know what? I appreciate Shine. Shine is beautiful. Shine kind of. When I first listened to that, I was like, "Oh, this is something different, a little bit soft." But the more I listen to it, the more I love it, like even more.
It's a beautiful
It's a very
tune.
beautiful song.
And Sue has a beautiful, soothing voice when she uses it that way, and it shines on that. Oh wait, did I just say shine?
But yeah, okay. What do we got? I'm just trying
So
to
I'm surprised. I thought I didn't know a lot of the tunes on the new album, but apparently I have and reacted to some of them, like Shanty, Shine, and BMX. So yeah, BMX was definitely outstanding for me. It just sounds like it's a great album. I'm gonna try to get to the rest of the album over the next little while.
So, here's another one as well. What are your thoughts on Shanty Shanty? What was your?
I dug it. First time I heard it, I dug it. Had a nice giddy up sound to me, up and at it. Really enjoyed
Shanty 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 is the baby metal Bollywood song I never knew I wanted.
it. There you go. That's perfectly well said.
Like, who would have thought they'd do Bollywood? Like, what, you know?
There's a lot of surprises on this album when you think about it. When you think of BMC, Papaya, and then Shanty Shanty, like this album is very, very diverse. That is when you listen to it.
It's to me, it's their most complicated album. It's definitely their most complicated and nuanced album. You know, you could say their first album introduced them. Their second album was more metal, and this was just like, okay, let's see what we could do now that we showed you what we want to do. We'll show you what we can do. It's just, you know, it's Koba just going out of the box, and if he keeps thinking out of the box, baby metal will keep being baby metal.
So yeah, well that's it, isn't it? Like they just keep going and they keep surprising. That's the great thing, and great for me and Rob as well as being reactors and seeing the stuff, and for them to keep going and keep surprising is all you can ask for really, and for what we do. And
I love that. If I hadn't done a video in a while and I go roll with one of their tunes and I just get blown away, I love that they can still do that for me. As many videos I've done of them, I love that they can still shock me.
So, well, we're getting a. Sorry, Youssef Salem has just said, "What's your favorite album?"
Yeah.
For me, I can't say because I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to say it's hard for me to pick one of the three right now. I think it's three, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I think maybe the second one, just right off the hop with my thinking back. But yeah, there's just so many tunes. I'd have to spend more time to look at it individually like that.
What about you, Brian? Brian's been awkwardly quiet for this one. He's thinking.
Okay, no, I'm not thinking at all. It would be Metal Resistance right off the bat. That's my favorite one. It's the most metal one. It's like that's my favorite one. However, like I said, I like all three of them. Like about a year and a half after Metal Resistance came out, I sat down and listened to album number 1 again, front to center, without just put the album on, listen to it front to end, and I was like, this album's a little more fun than Metal Resistance. And now I listen to, and then the last album, it's like, well, this one's much more creative than either of the other two. They all have their little, it's like, I don't know, maybe I should have kids and ask me to pick which was my favorite.
It's in your moment as well when you're listening to this stuff. As you know, Brian, being in the club business, man, I always talk about, I literally went from 2004 to 2018 without hearing music. Because for 10 hours a day, for 20 plus years, it went in one ear and out the other ear. Music, as long as I heard music, that told me there was a girl on stage, and that was good. So I never got to focus on music. So I think you might have a bit of an understanding when I talk about that. So when I get to do this channel and get introduced to this stuff, I sucked it in, man. I loved it. I had a fresh feel for it again, where I was willing to open my ears, mind, and dude, it's been mesmerizing for me. It heals me, it meditates me, it makes me feel good. And nothing lifts me like Babymetal can, with a great visual show, with the great music they're producing right now, man. And what I've seen in the last year with them has just been spectacular. Somebody asked about how we felt maybe about our channel growth in regards to Babymetal.
Oh yes, like how is your channel? Obviously, how's that affected?
You go ahead, Neon, first, because you're newer with this.
I would say from the Babymetal stuff for me has been probably the catalyst for my channel growth. I don't think I would be where I was if it wasn't for me reacting to Babymetal. And it's definitely a give and take relationship, because they've given me subs, watch time, and monetization, and this awesome band that I've just completely fell in love with. And it's much more than just just YouTube. It's much more than just making vids. For me now, I have a personal connection to the people that have jumped in, that have introduced me to this.
Like Brian does.
Yes.
You know, Brian's got a very personal connection to the band.
Yeah, it's
and you're leading into that. I haven't got to that point yet.
So yeah, and that's where it's not just a band anymore. It's for me. It's personal now. I love it. It's the band, the people, the music. It all kind of meshes into one now. My channel's seen great growth from that. Obviously, I tried to branch out and do other things, but I've Babymetal. I fell down the foxhole with Babymetal for that, and that's kind of opened up this trap door of all these other Japanese bands that I'm really digging at the minute. When this is where I kind of leading into Bandmade and Passcode and Unlucky Morpheus and stuff like that. These are all things I would never have even known existed if it wasn't for these people saying, "Oh, you know, you need to do this. You need to go here." So yeah, I have this really personal attachment to it now. And this band for me now epitomizes that. It's the growth of my channel with these good memories. Obviously, I've gone to see them live as well, all because of my channel, by the way, all because of just one random person told me, "Dude, you need to go and react to Babymetal," and I did that, and it's so mind-boggling to me that 6 months on, I think I had like 500 subs or something like that when I started reacting to Babymetal, and I'm closing in on 5K now, which is utterly ridiculous.
Wait. I gotta ask you a question. Do you remember who suggested go watch Babymetal? Because you owe that motherfucker a beer.
I do owe that. I
can't find it.
I owe him a night out. But it was.
You know who it is?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I know. I looked deep to see how I could find that, because I have a list of. I have multiple communities similar to Babymetal in my channel. Yeah, and so I always give props to who introduced me to one of my bigger viewers, guys that I react to. And I can't find Babymetal, but I found who led me to Babymetal, and that was my buddy who did the Bandmade, and that led me to Babymetal. And I can't find, because I deleted that video. And I deleted my old Vimeo account that had all my originals up there, and I don't have my early ones on BitChute.
So if you're in the chat, the person that recommended Babymetal to my channel, I just want to say a big thank you. And while we're on this subject as well,
but I knew it might have been Loon, because man, he showed up quickly in my Discord real quick with a list.
Yes. Props out to Loon.
Year, man.
Loon, Demon, Yusef, Bot.
List, I heard about it.
Yes. Loon's magical list. So how amazing was that? Like literally, I remember when I first started doing it, and I was like, no, Loon was just like, nope, you got to do it in this specific order. These are the videos you have to do. Don't do any fan complications, because they suck. So you do what I tell you, and you'll be all right. So yeah. So this is not my channel. It's basically Loon's. So for everybody who ever wants a Babymetal reaction and for the journey, then yeah, go and find Loon, because he's definitely a big factor.
But I want to continue on about the Babymetal with my channel. It was about 5 months into my channel when I got introduced to Babymetal, and I was about 2,2.2K subs in 5 months. Got introduced to Babymetal, hit me 5K real quick. I was doing big numbers, man. 60, 70, 80,000 views on videos, man. They took over all my Queen stuff real fast. And like I said, I am devastated that they're not still on my channel, because I had to delete them. Man, because the comments, the community was incredible. So yeah, I miss that aspect of it, but man, I'm just so pleased and blessed and happy I got to get introduced to them. So whoever it was that introduced me to Babymetal, outstanding, man. Crazy good. But yeah, it helped my channel big time. You know, I do a lot of link and sync Babymetal videos now, so it's not, it doesn't attract a lot of new users because they don't like clicking. I could do a Vimeo like Chief does. I've done that. I did that a year ago. I did that 8 months ago. I just roll with Babymetal now. Link and sync, because you guys are used to it. You guys enjoy it. So we get to roll with the best videos and have some fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. What about you, Brian? Can you remember?
Like I said, it was March 3rd, 2014. It was a Fark.com thing that was just kind of like, oh, Japan, and it was a link to a Carry Pamu Pamu video. I've looked for this thread on Fark because I wanted to see who's. It was just some guy that said, if you think that's weird, watch this with a link to Babymetal.
Yeah, the react.
I can't find the guy because I really would love to turn around.
Yeah,
and
so
be like,
none of us.
Yo, dude, thanks. Like,
None of us get him, eh? Damn.
I think I actually have one guy over at Reddit. I want to say it's Trek Store. I might be wrong. I know there was one guy over at Reddit that I suggested Babymetal on Fark. He's like, you guys brought me here. So I actually did the same thing for somebody else. So
Yeah, I was going to say there's one comment here that which actually kind of makes me laugh. Hang on, is it? Alex here goes. Luna has a list that 90% of reactors see, but never react to.
Yeah, because they don't like going away from YouTube. They YouTube views. I'm not into this for views.
So,
I'm into this for the community. I'm into this to your reaction to my reaction.
Exactly. That's why I started as a reactionist, because I loved watching like Tyrone Magnus and stuff like that, who's like the king of reactions at the minute. I mean, he can react to anything and he gets about 500k views or something like that per video. It's absolutely insane. And I enjoyed doing that, and I like you, I kind of seen it, I enjoyed it, and I thought I just thought I could do that and really geek out with people for some stuff.
Damn.
So
yeah, it's been awesome, man. I've loved it. It's been awesome.
It has been awesome.
I got to roll in 3 minutes.
Not a problem. Well, like I said, we're gonna end it here anyway because it has actually been 2 hours, 2 goddamn hours.
Yeah, that's awesome.
What?
Man.
Yeah, I know. Time flies.
God,
we've been chatting for 2 hours. So I just want to say, like I said, a massive thank you to everybody turning up for the chat as well. If you want to find out more, obviously, about Brian or Rob, the links are in the description down below, so go and check them out. Thank you, Brian, for being here, man.
Oh, no, thanks a lot. This was kind of fun. I always love talking Babymetal.
So, I will definitely do another episode if you two are definitely interested. The chat's been brilliant. We've been chatting for 2 hours.
Yeah, I get some of them new guys, man. Chief and
yes. Well, I've just seen Chief. I've just seen a few other people and stuff that's popped into the chat. So I'll get a few more guests on, and we'll have a second episode. Really
checking out that Reactor Hub, man.
Really sad. Yeah. I'm definitely leaning towards the Reactor Hub now. So. Thank you guys very, very much. We'll see.
It's been great talking.
Yeah, Brian, nice meeting you, man. I didn't know we were going to get somebody tight like you, man. And in the club business, man, that's awesome. Being tight with the girls like you are, that's awesome, bro. Love it.
You all ever get by New York? The New York, there's a whole group of us here in New York, and like we actually have like monthly meetups amongst Babymetal fans here. Anytime anybody comes from around the country and they're like, "Oh, I'm a Babymetal fan," we always get together.
Yeah,
nice.
For sure, man. I will definitely try and do that.
Like 4 hours away from me, I can make that trip soon.
It's a little bit longer for me, but I will try.
Yeah, man, we'll see. Not too far. Flying, baby. I'll be flying in.
Hey, they play New York every once in a while, I've heard.
Yeah, great stuff, guys. Guys in chat,
for sure.
In there, man.
Well, like I said, guys, you guys have been amazing. I really, really appreciate that you guys have been here. This looks like it's been a resounding success tonight, so I will definitely do some invite Brian and Rob onto the show if they want to do another episode in the future. And I'll make plans for an episode 2 with some different reactors and some more people. Obviously, invite Rob and Brian to hear some more as well, guys. Rob as well, man. It's been a privilege to have you on, man. You seem like a really, really cool dude, and I love hearing about your stories for your channel.
Yeah, I'm working hard, 40 hours a week, and grinding nightly, making videos still, man. Bottom line, I love doing the YouTube thing.
Living the life.
Loving the communities, man. The communities are outstanding.
Yes, they are absolutely amazing. Well, this is it for podcast Desu, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Peace out, guys.
Peace out, guys. Take care.
See you.
Yeah, Brian, great job, man. Gave me a lot of info. I had no